Hello everyone. Welcome to my online channel, The Palm Leaf. This is the sixth video in the data analytics and visualization series. In the previous video, we introduced the dplyr package and we looked at functions like select, filter, arrange, and mutate. In this video, we'll be specifically looking at the summarize and summarize each function, followed by a few ancillary functions like group by, and distinct, sum, and mean. Now, the interesting part is this is potentially going to be a very important video for the dplyr package because today we'll be looking at the summarize function, right? So let's get into it. In this video, we'll be looking at the MPG dataset. This is the same dataset that we have been looking in the previous videos as well. But just as a quick recap, we are going to look at all the different car manufacturers and their model types. For example, the year in which they were launched, the number of cylinders, what is their highway miles per gallon, city miles per gallon, what kind of class they belong to, whether it is compact, minivan, so on and so forth, right? In the previous video, we also looked at the chaining or the pipeline function, which is a percentage sign followed by a greater than sign followed by a percentage sign, right? So this helps us in sequencing our lines of code so that it's easy to understand and easy to remember and easy to code, right? I'll just quickly give you a recap of what we had done previously, right? We had just called out the data set, and then we had put a pipe function, and then we had put the mutate function, right? So this is what we'll continue to do using the summarize function as well. But before we use the summarize function, we are going to use something called as a group by function. This is a very easy this is a very powerful function which helps us to replicate what we usually do on a Excel sheet when we run pivots, right? So for example, if we want to understand what are the different types of manufacturers, unique manufacturers, we'll just run a pivot on manufacturer, right? We put this onto an Excel sheet and then we run a pivot with manufacturers in the column name. So this can be achieved with this line of code, right? You just have to say the data set followed by the pipeline, the pipeline command, followed by just writing group underscore by, and then in the parenthesis mention the column name. So in this case, it is manufacturer, right? So what we achieve through just this line of code, whatever I've highlighted, is that we will replicate the pivot function in an Excel sheet, right? And then if we run another pipe function, we can then start to summarize whatever we have achieved through this column. So what I mean by summarize is you can actually summarize using any statistical value. So here you can use mean. So in a pivot, you can usually use count, mean, average, which mean or average, or you can actually do a count or a sum if, or any other statistical function that you can actually use, or any other aggregate function that you can actually use on a column. So this is exactly what you achieve using the summarize function. So in this case, what you're doing is you're going to summarize by a variable CTY, which is the city miles per gallon, it's a numerical variable, right? And you're going to take the mean of that variable, right? So when you want to do that, you can just specify mean, and then in the parenthesis, you can just write CTY. Here, we are using a comma separator and writing the na.rm is equal to true command. Now, what does this mean? This is used, let's say, if in your column you've got some null values and you want to remove them. So wherever you have a not applicable case, it just is a command to just go ahead and remove them. So na.rm is equal to true will just remove null values, right? This is an optional command. It can be used where if and when you feel that some of your columns don't have all the observations in that column, if it is not updated with the right values, or if there are null values, then you can actually use this command. So essentially what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to take the mean of the CTY column and pass it on to a variable called as AVG, which acts like a column name when we look at this data. And then after we are done with this, we'll just pass another pipe function and then just sort it by in ascending order of average, because average is anyways going to be a numerical value. So I'll just run the code and then I can explain it to you. So I'll place my cursor here, I press Alt Enter, it will run the code. So as you can see, right, my MPG database had about 224 rows or so, but in this table, which is a table is essentially like a data frame, but it is slightly different, right? So in this table format, what you see is you get a unique list of 15 manufacturers, right? Lincoln, Toyota, Nissan, so on and so forth, and then how, I mean, the way we had calculated the average of CTY, right? We had calculated the mean of CTY. So that we have passed it on to the average column, right? That's what we see here. I think this is pretty straightforward. This is what you will achieve on an Excel sheet after you run pivot. Now, the good part about this is you can all this that you have just calculated, you can assign it to an object. So for example, you can assign it to an object A, and then you can just call on A whenever you require. So for example, if you want to at some point in time of the analysis, if you want to pick up the average value of CTY for the average city miles per gallon for Mercury, you can just filter by Mercury on the object A, right? So that's the reason why this is very powerful. In Excel sheet, you'll have to actually run the pivot, and then you'll have to copy paste the Mercury value and then reuse it. So you'll be creating a number of different sheets. Here it's just through lines of code, so it's very convenient. So this is the summarize and group by function. I hope it's fairly straightforward. Now, in this case, we just had one column to summarize. So let's assume that if you have multiple columns to summarize, let's say you have CTY and HWY, which is city miles per gallon and highway miles per gallon, and you want to summarize both the functions. Like if you want to summarize every function, every column, I mean, you have got a string of 3 or 4 different columns that you want to perform an action on, and you want to do the summarize variable for all of those columns, right? That is where summarize each comes in. So you use the same line of code. You say MPG, which is a data set, pipeline function group by manufacturer, pipeline function summarize each, right? After you write summarize each, then you can, as in the previous video, you can, as in the previous example, you can actually use the column names. But here, because you're using summarize each, there's a slight change in the syntax. You'll have to use the funds command, the funds syntax, and just mention mean inside. So what this tells are is for each um, each entry for each unique manufacturer, I'm going to summarize the CTY and HWY columns, and I'm going to take a mean of it, right? So so the statistical action that is going to happen is the average of all the columns that I'm mentioning here, right? So this is a pretty straightforward example if you have multiple columns and you want to perform this same thing, right? So this is where you can put more columns on an so if you just take a comparative with an Excel sheet, this is where you run a multi column pivot, right? So again, this happens in a single line of code. If you want to look at another example, so this was when you had a single action that was taken on multiple columns, right? Single statistical action. Now let's say you want to take multiple statistical actions on multiple variables. So then what you do is you will just group. You use the same MPG pipeline group by manufacturer command, and then you say summarize each, right? Now let's say you want to find out the min and max of all columns that end with Y, right? So let me just run the code, and I'll then quickly take you through how the output is and how the other aspects of the code is, right? So what you see here is that in MPG, when you look at the MPG database, there are two columns that end with Y. One is the CTY, which is the city miles per gallon, and one is HWY, which is the highway miles per gallon. So it automatically could understand that those were the two columns, and it is enlisted the 15 unique manufacturers, and it's conveniently given us a suffix which is underscore min and underscore max for each of these columns, and then it has ranked, I mean, it's just giving us min and max values for each manufacturer entry, right? So it's fairly straightforward. Now let me just explain what is all this that is written in between, right? So I mean, the funds function is exactly the same as you saw in the earlier example. and you're using a comma separator just to say min and max, and then another comma and saying all columns that end with y, right? So R automatically detects when it is a function and when you are talking about a column. Now, just to explain what is written inside the min and max function. So let's say, you can simply use min comma max, but let's say if you feel that there are some null values that you want to remove, then you need to write na.rm is equal to true. The moment you have to add an argument, you'll have to use a comma separator, right? And you can't just put nothing before the comma separator. So you just put a placeholder which is like a dot, and then you say all the data that you have aggregated so far, you will pass it on. You're just using a placeholder to pass it on, and then you're just saying na.rm is equal to true. So you're using the min and max functions here, and you're applying it to all columns that end with y. I hope this is also fairly okay, right? Now we move to another useful function called as n, and a relative of that function called as n underscore distance. And I quickly explain how that is. Let me run this code and show to you. And then we can have a quick look at it. So what is happening here is I'm again grouping by manufacturer, and I'm summarizing. In this case, the n open parenthesis will tell me the count, right? So what it does is it will summarize all my manufacturers, and the count column actually tells me that there are 18 different types of models of Audi and 19 different types of Chevrolet, right? So it is just a countif kind of a function. So if you want to do a countif function, to just understand how many so let's say if you look at the mpg database, right, and if this is on an excel sheet, what you will do is if you want to identify how many audi is there, you will just write is equal to countif, you will select this column, and then in double quotes you will just mention audi. So the same action is now replicated through just using the summary. You can just put it in the summarize function and say count is equal to n, open and close parenthesis, right? Another useful function is the n distinct. Now, how is n and n distinct different? So what n distinct does is, now if you look at the MPG database, you can see that in Audi, you will see that a lot of, you will have this different types of models with the same kind of cylinders, even within the Audi manufacturer. So if you want to find out how many distinct number of cylinders are there, so this is like levels in a particular variable, right? So for that we use n distinct. So if you look at what the value has returned, Audi has got three different types of different types of cylinders, potentially 4, 5, and 6, right? So so this helps us to identify unique type of column entries, unique type of observations inside a particular column, right? And then you have the standard sum function and mean function here, which is something you can just reuse. Cool. I hope that was also okay. Now let's move to the table function, which is the last function that we are going to cater to this video. Again, it's the same. I'm just using the same aggregation, which is MPG and grouping by manufacturer. Let's say I select cylinders, right? So the moment I do this, what I'm going to get is something like this. So I have just selected until cylinder. So I'm selecting all the manufacturers and I'm selecting cylinder. So it's just giving me these two columns, right? Now, if I want to understand, if I want to see how those cylinders map across the manufacturers, I will have to use the table function. The moment I use a table function, um, let me select the whole thing and I press Control Enter. What I see is I will get all the manufacturers in the first column, and then different types of cylinders. So there are 4 types of cylinders: 4, 5, 6, and 8. It automatically gives me the frequencies, right? So the table function actually gives me a frequency of all the different levels inside a column, right? So this is a very powerful single line of code which you can use to execute if you want to understand how the frequency is inside a particular column, just to understand distribution or proportion. This is a very useful command. Now, CYL, you would have observed, is a numerical variable. You can not only use it for a numerical variable, you can even use it for a categorical variable. So FL is a type of fuel types, right? So if you look at this, you will see that there are 5 different types of fuel type, and you can actually see the frequency table for even categorical variable. So there is no constraint on it has to be a numerical or a categorical variable. You can actually do it for both. Now, if let's say you want to print this, you want to print it back to an Excel sheet. So what will you do? You'll have to first, so in this case, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to select 2 columns, fuel type and cylinder, and then run table on both, right? So I'm getting something like this. You'll see I'll get a table for each cylinder and FL combination. So cylinder is equal to 4, I get an FL combination. Then cylinder is equal to 5, I will get an FL combination, so on and so forth. Now let's say if I want to print it, what will I do? I will assign it to a variable A. So let me just assign it to the variable A, and then let me view A, right? So when I view A, what I'm getting is I'm getting all the FL and cylinder combinations, and I'm getting a frequency column, right? So here frequency is not segregated into different columns. Here I'm getting a single column. If I want the same view, let's say if I want this view, what I need to do is I simply export it into Excel and then run a pivot, right? With frequencies in columns. So it will give me the same view. So that's a very quick way to get the table function. If you want to understand distribution or count of all the different unique combinations inside a particular column, that's how you do it. Cool. Thank you very much for watching. In the next video, we'll look at a few more functions before we close the dplyr package. I hope we through this video we could actually look at some real life examples, right? So for example, the moment you start doing some analysis, right, what you can do is you can use a data set. Let's say you'll have to import your Excel sheet onto R, and I'll cover that in the subsequent videos. Let's say if you import your Excel sheet into R, and then just look at the data set to understand what you want to group by, followed by a summarize function. This will help you pull together fairly easy, fairly complex dashboards very quickly, right? And in the future, I'll try and put some specific videos to cover real life examples. So for example, some of us at least would be in the operations field, right? And if you want to understand what is the utilization of our team, or let's say if you want to understand uh, how how our employees are performing given their specific tasks in a day. So there would be some employees who are doing really well, and some who are not doing that well, and there will be some people in the middle, right? So if you want to do all these kind of analysis, then I mean, instead of using an Excel sheet and then moving between sheets, you could actually use the dplyr package, and then you can convert it into variables, and you can assign it into an object and then play around with those objects, right? Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. I'll try and close the dplyr package, at least the basics, in video 7. Thank you very much.